And how are you today? This is Reverend Jess Foglesong from touchedbygodchurch.com online ministries, reaching out to all of the world through our World Wide Web. And I believe it's a gift from God. In technology, we developed this, a way to propagate and to spread His Word. All right, our lesson today is called Planet Earth Was Shaping Up. As we continue our lesson, the Earth was shaping up. Primitive societies in all the continents, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, North and South America. Ancient pagan tribal societies developed into more complicated idol-worshipping, sacrificial, ceremonial types of communities. In general, though, still haphazard and chaotic. Then, approximately 10,000 years ago, something amazing happened. God was ready to infuse the neshama, which is Hebrew for the human soul, into humankind, giving them the moral choice of what to choose within their surroundings, the free will to live a life as one chooses, to choose one God or false gods. God also gave them the ability to realize that they were created by someone or something greater than themselves. Animals did not have this unique ability. They acquired the nephesh, which is Hebrew for animal instinct. They acquired this instead of the neshama. After the neshama was instilled in all humans, life on earth developed exponentially until it really got out of hand. So much that God decided to step in and start over through a man of faith named Noah. He instructed him to build an ark large enough to house his family and 2 of every animal in the known world. Noah was obedient, and the ark was constructed. And God made it rain 40 days and, of course, 40 nights. Water covered every part of the known world, every part of the world. Every living thing, in turn, every living thing perished. And when Noah and his family and all the animals finally stepped out onto dry land, God said to go into the land and multiply. God's plan was back on track. A Redeemer was in the works. God's people multiplied through the years until a time arrived when they decided to elect out of the millions of human beings one man and his tribe or family named Abraham. And they lived in the Middle East in a land called Ur, in the country of today's Iraq. And because God instilled in him the neshama, the ability to understand a spiritual entity, he came to know of a spiritual, invisible creator, a supreme Father in heaven. And because of Abraham's allegiance, God chose him to begin his program of salvation and redemption for all of humanity. But in order to bring a Redeemer to light, there must be trials and tribulations. Illustrations of trust and obedience by the people of Abraham and his clan. There would be types of Redeemers and a system of rituals and sacrificial offerings symbolizing the coming of a Redeemer, a representative of all humanity. Therefore, God made a covenant with Abraham, as well as his offspring Isaac and Jacob. He made a covenant that all of their children would dwell in the land of milk and honey, the land of promise, and live freely without strife for generations. God's encounter with Abraham began approximately 6,000 years ago, and he called these chosen people Israel. God changed Jacob's name to Israel. Now Israel, the tribe of Israel, became a type of the coming Redeemer, the Christ, and had to follow certain rules or commandments, regulations given to them at Mount Sinai after their captivity during their journey from Egypt to the Promised Land, part of God's covenant. God chose this group of people as an example of what the true Redeemer would be. In other words, all that Israel was as a nation would culminate in one man, the Redeemer, the Christ. God's plan of salvation was simple. He would teach a small group of human beings to do the will of the Father himself, to have an allegiance to him, to follow distinct commands. In a way, to be a perfect people, which in turn would be a prerequisite of the future Redeemer, the Christ, the Messiah. God's patience was tried many times, and he actually threatened to terminate the covenant. But each time a type of Redeemer or leader argued with him and convinced him to continue the plan. Although in God's eyes it was a chore, keeping his focus on the positive side of such a raggedy group of people. But if it wasn't for these types of redeemers who understood the temperament of earthly beings, the covenant would have been broken long before the entrance into the land of Canaan. So for over 5,000 years, God's plan of salvation was in effect, although many times nearly broken. But he always found a way to continue the long journey toward the coming of the Redeemer. God's initial thought of having humans colonize the earth had never wavered. His plan was to create a universe specifically for the introduction and colonization of beings that would live in total harmony with him, his angels, and within his government. Although in order to properly instigate such a program, it had to be done properly and in an orderly manner. There would not be shortcuts or instantaneous magical appearances. It had to be done the long way. Of course, to God, it would be instantaneous. He's not confined by time. All the bells and all the whistles had to be included. There would be no humans if the slightest glitch was detected in the development of the universe, its constants, its contents, and the formation of life itself. All right, we're going to stop right there and continue with our progression here of the beginnings of our earth, and we'll continue next time. This is Reverend Jess Foglesong from touchedbygodchurch.com. That'll be online. This is an online church. You can stop in and look at all the information and get some requests. And also, I'd like to show you the book that I wrote and published. This book is called, take a look at it, God, Spirit, Divine, Energy, Light, the Supreme God of the Universe. Take a look at that. And this book is dedicated to the God of the universe who sacrificed his Son, the Christ Jesus, who was killed willingly, giving his own life to vindicate his Father and to redeem a lost human race. And God, as I'm reading the back of the book here, the sole creator of the universe and everything within it, is an active, dynamic God, always instilling the goodness, the positive, the wonder in all. Take a look at this book. You'll find it at Amazon.com. just type my name on there, Reverend Jess K. Foglesong, Reverend Jess Foglesong. And if you actually want it signed, you can just go onto eBay and find the book on eBay. Just type the book, and I'll send you one that's been signed. Okay, and appreciate it. So till we talk again next time. God's blessing to you today.